Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome to our first episode in this start to finish series. So this episode is we're gonna get an idea for our film, our scene here. So here I have my whiteboard. I always like whiteboards, like to create the ideas. And then we have our story timeline set up, and I don't know if we will fill out everything in the story timeline depending on what the scene is. We'll see. So so this episode is all on getting those ideas and stuff like that. I'm super stoked for this. This is going to be a ton of fun. So let's get right into it. So before we even touch the story timeline, we have to come up with some sort of ideas, like some sort of idea of what we want. And so when I'm coming up with this idea, I have to think of a couple things, like where's my location? It's just going to be here in this kitchen table. And then how many people do I have? And it's just going to be me. So I am making this on my own. So there are limitations in that as well. I can't do camera movement. And I can't do certain things because I'm on my own, right? So I have to think of that as well. Except I do think, because I don't have an idea of what I want, and I wasn't thinking about it, so this could be more real rather than, oh, I guess we could do that. Like, I didn't want to do that. Yeah. I do want, though, I'm kind of thinking towards doing a film that could take place over time, but it's just one shot. Like, even if it fades and stuff to show the passing of time, it's just like the camera doesn't move. It's just in one place for the whole scene. And so I would like that. I did have an idea, and I'm going to write this down, that guy is trying to work. I did actually really like that idea. That like the guy is trying to work on his laptop or something, and then there keeps being interruptions, like his food is done, or someone's knocking at the door, or something like that. Like just these little interruptions and stuff could be really cool. Or like make a good story, you know? Okay. I got all my animals here, but I don't really want to work them into the table, you know? Because that's hard, because they're not like professionally trained or anything. I gotta go turn the heat down. I'll be right back. Okay, so I think I'm gonna go with this idea because I can't come up with any other ideas. And let me tell you though, this is one of the hardest parts of the whole filmmaking process, at least for me, is the idea part. Because it's either I get so many ideas that I can't choose or decide on an idea, or I can't get an idea for the life of me. It's either one of those two that like I just. And so the fact that I have this idea is that I'm gonna go with the main idea that the guy is trying to work. And a lot of times I throw like a bunch of different ideas on here, so the guy's trying to work and there's interruptions. So now I kind of want to brainstorm before I move on to the story timeline what those interruptions are and like what he's doing, what he's trying to work on. And that doesn't need to necessarily be made known. It needs to be made known in the film that he's trying to work. So I'm going to underline that. And then different interruptions though. So I did mention earlier that he was cooking food. Someone's at the door. But I need to decide more than just two interruptions because he has to get really annoyed. I think we could have multiple of people going to the door. I think that would be fine. But, I bet we could work it in there to get my cat to, like, mess around and walk across the keyboard or something in a shot. So I'm gonna write cat down. I don't know if that will turn into anything, but it could. Maybe water runs out, and that's what it starts with, is that his water runs out, so he has to get up and do that. Maybe his laundry is done. Except I have to remember, though, no, not laundry, because I want this in one shot. I don't want this to be a super complicated film with multiple locations. We're gonna keep it in this one location. And so I have to think about that they have to know what's happening too. Maybe a picture falls, or like a glass breaks or something in the background, so he has to clean that up. Yeah, okay, I think that's a solid list of things that we have to create a good story out of this. Guy's trying to work, and so all this stuff is keeping him from working. Yeah, so now let's move on to the story timeline. So if you haven't already, that I do have a video all about getting ideas. I made it quite a while ago, so it may need updated, but you can check that out too if you want. Okay, so just a quick overview of what everything on the story timeline is. So we have our introduction that kind of introduces the characters and everything. This little turning point to where it starts inclining is the turning point that kind of pushes the story, that introduces the problem. Then you have the rising action. That's all that's leading up to the climax, which is the highest and most intense part of the film. But then you will see in the rising action there's a little divot, and this is what is called the dark night of the soul. So this is when things are just the worst that they could possibly be, and so it's just crap, right? And so usually it's when the hero gives up, and then he then eventually finds new hope, and then he leads to the climax, which then leads to the falling action, which is after that, then the resolution, which is what happens because of the climax and how the characters change. So we have all of that there. Now, for our story, because of how simple it is, it may not fit everything in there, and that's fine. Like the Dark Night of the Soul may be the climax, or we may not even have the Dark Night of the Soul, which I probably wouldn't have that at all, because just for the lengthwise, I'm not planning this to be a full film. This is gonna be like a 1 to 2 minute film, you know? So let's fill this out, because we fill this out to ease our scripting. This is gonna be our whole story. So introduction is that the guy is trying to work. So the guy is working, and I'm gonna have him like sit down and set the laptop down. So set laptop up. All right. So that laptop is set up and everything like that, and then he starts working. All right. So the turning point is going to be his water runs out. Yeah. So his water runs out, so he has to go fill it up. So then he sits back down. Now, I also want to note that the story timeline can be as detailed or as not detailed as you want. I tend to get I want to get step by step by step by step, because then when I'm scripting, that really helps me out scripting wise, because then I know exactly what's coming and what I need to script. So he sits back down and let's say that his food is done. Food is done. All right. Then the next thing can be that a glass breaks. Right. Then someone's at the door. All right. Let's have the cat walk across the table. Okay, then right here, another knock. And then the climax is gonna be when he just sits back down and he's like, no. And so he shuts the laptop. He's gonna shut the laptop and he's like, I'm done, this is terrible. And so then he walks away. That actually is the Dark Knight of the Souls, that he shuts it and then he comes back. He's like, I'm done, but now I'm gonna come back. But then there wouldn't be a climax. So we're gonna just have that be the climax. It would actually fit really well into Dark Knight of the Soul. But, so he shuts the laptop, and we could have it be a funny ending to where he he shuts it and then he takes a deep breath and then he opens it back up again and he starts working, and then there's another knock at the door and then it stops, and so it's like, what? Okay, so I think that'd be pretty great. So he shuts the laptop and he sits there, and there's no distractions. All right. Okay, so he sits there and there's no distractions. But then he opens the laptop. Let's actually have another. Yeah, we'll have someone knock. I mean, I never get people knocking at my door, but it is what it is. All right, so now, I mean, this one isn't as important. With woodwork, I named that literally right before I posted it. That was not named the full thing. We on set we called it Untitled Wood Project. So in this process, you could name it. I'm gonna name it Distractions. Just because I like that name. But see, I always prefer to name it as early as possible. But if you can't come up with a name, that can always happen later. That could happen at the last second. I mean, you should have a name if you're gonna post a trailer, but yeah. All right, so as we look here, we have brainstormed. We came up with our idea and some sub-ideas inside of that, And then we took all those ideas and put it onto our story timeline. And so now we have a complete story and we are ready to move on to the next step. So we're gonna get our computer and we're gonna script this film.